Meetings between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin have often promised much, but delivered little. This is the stark reality as the two leaders prepare for their seventh face-to-face encounter in Alaska. All 6 previous meetings took place during Trump's first presidential term, yet none resulted in significant tangible progress for Trump or the broader geopolitical landscape. But here's where it gets controversial. Despite Trump's frequent praise for Putin, a stance that even caused uneasy murmurs among some Republicans, concrete outcomes remained elusive. These past interactions heavily influenced the anticipation surrounding Friday's summit, particularly in the context of ending Russia's ongoing war in Ukraine. In recent days, Trump's tone about the meeting has fluctuated. Sometimes he attempts to lower expectations, while at other moments he warns that Russia could face severe consequences if Putin refuses to agree to a ceasefire. And this is the part most people miss. Trump's messaging is a complex dance between diplomacy and deterrence. During Trump's first term, his relationship with Russia was always under a cloud of suspicion and scrutiny. Campaigning in 2016, Trump talked about mending ties and frequently commended Putin as a strong, capable leader. In a July 2016 press conference in Florida, Trump even directly urged Russia to locate Hillary Clinton's deleted emails, a dramatic moment that preceded actual hacking and leaking of Democratic Party documents just before the election. This period ushered in relentless investigations into Russian efforts to support Trump's campaign, casting a long shadow over his presidency. To understand Putin's approach in these meetings, it's important to consider his background, a former KGB officer. Putin treats diplomatic talks as strategic exercises, carefully reading his opponents before making his move. John Hardy, deputy director of the Russia program at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, explains that Putin prefers to deliver extended historical narratives when meeting leaders like Trump, especially to justify his view that Ukraine naturally belongs in Russia's sphere of influence. Trump's perspective, shaped by his years in real estate, often interprets international affairs as territorial deals, swapping land to reach agreements. However, John Hurst, who served as U.S. ambassador to Ukraine from 2003 to 2006, notes this approach seriously misreads Putin's ambitions. Putin isn't merely seeking a piece of Ukrainian territory. He wants complete political control over Ukraine, which would require further military conquests. As Herbst puts it, Putin's ultimate aim is to revive aspects of the former Russian Empire, with the continuation of the war serving that purpose. Trump's campaign pledge to quickly broker peace between Russia and Ukraine faced serious challenges. The conflict has overshadowed broader U.S. Russia cooperation, and Trump's frustration with Putin intensified as Moscow continued missile and drone attacks on civilians, despite several calls between the two leaders. In fact, analyses by defense think tanks show that strikes on Ukraine surged following most of their phone conversations. This cycle highlights the difficulty Trump faces in balancing personal rapport with Putin and the harsh reality of ongoing aggression. In a revealing moment during a July Oval Office discussion with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, Trump expressed his exasperation with Putin's conflicting actions. "I go home. I tell the First Lady, I spoke to Vladimir today. We had a wonderful conversation. And she said, 'Oh, really? Another city was just hit.'" This painfully illustrates the disconnect between diplomatic talk and battlefield reality. This build-up puts enormous pressure on Trump to avoid leaving the upcoming summit with, yet again, little to show for the encounter. Let's revisit their prior meetings to understand the pattern. Hamburg, Germany, July 7, 2017. Their inaugural face-to-face took place at the G20 summit. Trump expressed optimism about positive outcomes for both nations, calling the meeting an honor. Putin emphasized the necessity of personal meetings to resolve global issues. An amusing moment occurred when Putin asked if the assembled reporters had insulted Trump, who responded with a nod and a laugh. This session included key diplomats, then Secretary of State Rex Tillerson and Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. Tillerson later remarked that, despite controversies over election interference, the two presidents found a path forward. Curiously, Trump retained the notes from his translator, a move unusual for presidential meetings. That evening, during a summit dinner, Putin sat next to First Lady Melania Trump, reflecting a certain diplomatic rapport. Da Nang, Vietnam, November 11, 2017. At the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit, Trump and Putin were seen chatting informally, but did not hold a scheduled meeting. Trump later revealed that they discussed allegations of Russian interference during the 2016 election. Putin denied any involvement. And Trump publicly stated he believed Putin's denial, suggesting Putin was personally insulted by the accusations, a controversial stance that raised eyebrows about Trump's view on intelligence assessments. Helsinki, Finland, July 16, 2018. Their first private summit was a 2-hour meeting preceded by a joint session with American officials. In the press conference that followed, Putin took a dominant role, running the Q&A and setting the tone. Trump refrained from criticizing Putin, notably avoiding mentions of Russia's 2014 annexation of Crimea or the nerve agent attack in the UK earlier that year. Most strikingly, Trump contradicted his own intelligence agencies by questioning whether Russia had interfered in the 2016 election, a remarkable divergence that fueled intense debate. Buenos Aires, Argentina, November 30, 2018. Ahead of the G20 meetings, Trump cancelled a planned meeting after Russia seized Ukrainian naval vessels in the Sea of Azov. Nonetheless, the two leaders had an informal discussion at a dinner with other world leaders. Each prior encounter reflects a mixture of hopeful diplomacy, personal dynamics, and strategic ambiguity, often leaving the broader public and politicians questioning what, if anything, Trump was able to achieve with Putin. This history begs some thorny questions. Given the pattern of previous meetings ending without concrete outcomes, why do these summits continue to capture so much attention? And is it truly possible for a personal rapport to shift entrenched geopolitical conflicts? Or do these moments serve a different purpose altogether? What do you think? Does the ongoing Trump-Putin summit dialogue hold the key to peace? Or is it just a political theater with little real impact?